Здравствуйте, меня зовут Досбаев Kairat, я ученый и занимаюсь
Hello, my name is
антигравитацией.
Kairat Dosbaev. I am a scientist from Kazakhstan and have been studying anti-gravity for over 40 years. During this period, I created the first theory of anti-gravity in human history. In this video, you will learn about the operating diagram of the anti-gravity engine. The question is, who will be the first to create it? Kazakhstan is the birthplace of the digital Vatican, Upperland, a just state of programmers and inventors, where every upper will deservedly enjoy the fruits of their labor. You will experience the first laboratory experiment in human history on the release of anti-gravity, Cancer Delta. We will discuss a method for curing the human body of cancer and other diseases using anti-gravity. No. Your understanding of anti-gravity will usher in the era of anti-gravity and supertechnology on our planet. No. Believe me, this is great knowledge. Their power will enable humanity to make new discoveries in mechanics, physics, chemistry, medicine, and other fields. I'm not afraid to appear immodest because over 40 years of work, I've noticed that this enormous revolutionary theory has become, as it were, an independent entity with its own rules and laws, hypotheses, and evidence base. Various scientific processes and phenomena that I encounter in my life, one way or another, find their explanation within the framework of the anti-gravity theory. I can only observe all this and record it promptly. The creation of an anti-gravity engine will usher in a new era in human technology. The basic design of the engine's operation is already ready. The only question is, who will be the first to create it? Now I want to directly address software developers, IT specialists, and the inventors of planet Earth. I repeat, I address software developers, IT specialists, and all the inventors of planet Earth. Human scientific thought has reached the limit of its development. For over 100 years, humanity has not made any epical breakthrough discoveries. All of today's science is a regurgitation of the achievements of the 20th century, scaling them up with some refinements. Thus, ordinary accelerators from the last century were scaled up to hadron colliders, as if detecting hadrons would give us something super important. Without a holistic understanding of the evolution of the universe, no colliders will help. Computers invented in the 20th century are growing in cores and terabytes every year, as if computing speed will help us understand the development of the world and the universe. Artificial intelligence, which has recently emerged, is based on knowledge from the past. This is certainly good, but AI will never surpass the ceiling that humanity has reached. Now I will explain briefly, why has scientific development reached its limit, the limit for epical discoveries? Because today, modern science lacks a unified concept of the evolution of the world. There is no philosophical understanding of the unity of its constructs and concepts. After all, an ant doesn't have a holistic understanding of its nest and its place on this planet. Anti-gravity theory is intended to provide a holistic picture of the world. After studying it, you'll understand that gasoline and diesel engines in cars and airplanes are all Stone Age. They're all just carts with stone wheels. In general, all modern technologies are Stone Age compared to the coming era of anti-gravity. Modern binary computers are Mesozoic compared to computers that will operate on the natural quantization of information based on the same principles, the same programming language that underpin human nature and the cosmos.
We have created a computer that operates on natural quantization of information.
Understand that to break through into the era of supertechnologies and epical discoveries, you must first and foremost think on a grand scale, setting goals and objectives that at first glance seem fantastic, mind-blowing, as today's youth say. To achieve this, you must constantly expand and broaden your consciousness. And believe me, the anti-gravity theory, which I've been developing for over 40 years, will give you this enormous potential. After becoming familiar with it, you'll reach a higher level, a more expansive vision of this world, and the potential to create super technologies. Because, as you'll understand later, anti-gravity theory is not just a scientific theory, it's a way of life, a unity between man and the universe. This theory will provide insight into the creation of an anti-gravity engine, a supercomputer based on the quantization of human nature, principles for treating cancer, heart disease, and other illnesses, and extending human life by at least twofold. This theory will contribute to the creation of a digital Vatican, Upperland, a just state for programmers, inventors, and IT professionals in general, where there will be no digital slavery, where every upper will deservedly enjoy the fruits of their labor. You'll learn more about all these concepts and approaches later. And now, forward and only forward. In this regard, I want to note that anti-gravity theory is not just about engines and lifting mechanisms. It is about new super technologies in biology, medicine, computer science, physics, and other fields of science and technology. The science of anti-gravity is wonderful because it unites all sciences. I see how, thanks to this theory, humanity will step into the age of anti-gravity, into the age of supertechnologies, compared to which all modern human achievements will seem like the Stone Age. Thanks to anti-gravity theory, humanity will learn to release anti-gravity from matter, from its structural vacuum. This will make it possible to create powerful industrial and household anti-gravity engines, lifting mechanisms, and electric generators powered by anti-gravity. Humanity will also be able to quickly convert all existing aircraft, cars, and other mechanisms on Earth to anti-gravity drives. Mastering anti-gravity will free humanity from centuries-old dependence on energy sources of all kinds, cleanse the planet of carbon pollution, and finally put an end to energy wars. Mastering anti-gravity will also significantly reduce the cost of food production. The efficiency of extracting energy released from the structural vacuum of anti-gravity will be 90%. Plant growth time, thanks to anti-gravity technology, will be reduced by 2 to 3 times. Virtually zero energy costs and a dramatic reduction in growing time will allow every family to own automated cyber greenhouses measuring just 10 square meters. Each such greenhouse will grow over 1.5 tons of vegetables per year, fully meeting the family's basic vegetable needs. Overall, the significance of all these transformations associated with the application of anti-gravity in all spheres of human life will be so great that the entire history of humanity will be divided into before and after the discovery of anti-gravity. I will discuss revolutionary technologies in medicine, biology, and virology in particular later. But overall, I'm convinced that as long as people are watching this video, I consider the fact that the anti-gravity era of humanity began in 2026 to be indisputable. Because firstly, the theory of anti-gravity has been made public. Secondly, someone watching this video will go ahead and begin the practical implementation of anti-gravity on our planet. And thirdly, God is with us, but I'll talk about that separately. And now let's ask the most important question. Why is our humanity still unable to approach the phenomenon of anti-gravity? Why are we still unable to step into the era of anti-gravity supertechnologies? I'll repeat, because today our humanity still lacks the conceptual and methodological framework for studying anti-gravity. And most importantly, we lack a philosophical understanding of this phenomenon. Meanwhile, you'll be surprised. Anti-gravity has been right next to us, within us and around us, one might even say, right under our noses. It's like yin and yang. If there's gravity, then anti-gravity is always nearby. To understand this, you must realize that gravity is the mass of matter, and anti-gravity is its form. I repeat, gravity is the mass of matter, and anti-gravity is its form. You've probably already made your first guess right now. You've probably thought that based on this logic, the mass of our Earth is a manifestation of gravity, and its form is a manifestation of anti-gravity. And you'd be absolutely right. It is with this understanding of the fundamentals of anti-gravity by each of you that the era of anti-gravity and super technologies begins on our planet. You might ask why this is so. Well, for one thing, because the universe itself has an anti-gravity model of its development. Now, to understand the essence of anti-gravity, I need to tell you about the anti-gravity model of the universe's development. In this regard, to understand the essence and scale of the supertechnologies revealed by the theory of anti-gravity, you need to concentrate a little now. The vacuum of space is not a void, as many understand it from school. The vacuum of space resembles a boiling broth of elementary particles, quarks, gluons, and leptons, from which the atoms of solid matter are later built. As you know, the universe contains powerful sources of gravitational braking. These are black holes, supermassive stars, and their tiny embryos scattered throughout space. One could say that the entire universe is dotted with gravitational braking hotbeds. As a result of this universal braking, elementary particles in the vacuum condense, forming protons, neutrons, and electrons, the future atoms of solid matter. Thanks to this great universal braking, over billions of years, stars, planets, and galaxies have emerged and are emerging, and now pay attention. From elementary physics, we know that any deceleration is accompanied by inertia, and the stronger the deceleration, the greater the inertia. Modern physics misses this point. She doesn't see this inertia. Meanwhile, according to the anti-gravity theory, this inertia is anti-gravity. Due to its escape from the vacuum of space, our universe is constantly expanding. Modern science explains the expansion of the universe with the Big Bang theory. They say there was a powerful explosion, and now we're all flying apart like shreds or pieces of something else. In this regard, the Big Bang theory, unfortunately, is more like a fever dream with a complete lack of physical logic. Look for yourself. According to the Big Bang theory, as a result of the explosion, the universe expands, but the stars and planets themselves don't fly apart like fragments, but simply increase the distance between them. Pay attention. Because of the expansion of space itself in the universe. Moreover, after the explosion, the expansion rate of the universe constantly increases. Tell me, where have you ever seen an explosion after which its fragments not slow down but actually increase their speed of expansion? In short, the Big Bang theory, which has been plaguing humanity for decades, is completely untenable and, what's more, harmful. Let's summarize all of the above. That is, the cause of the expansion of the universe is not an explosion, but the inertia of universal braking, manifested as the release of anti-gravity from the universal vacuum. Part of this anti-gravity is used to form stars, planets, and galaxies. The other, large portion, is used to expand the universe, and that mysterious dark matter in space is concentrated anti-gravity. This anti-gravity is additional space-time in the universe, the essence of its anti-gravitational expansion. To summarize all of the above, from a physical perspective, anti-gravity theory sees the process of expansion of the universe as entirely logical and natural. The cause of the expansion of the universe is not an explosion, but the inertia of universal braking, manifested as the release of anti-gravity from the universal vacuum. This inertia is the additional space-time of the universe, the essence of its anti-gravitational expansion. Please see how this anti-gravity release scheme works in the universe. Here I present a universal chain of stages for the emergence of anti-gravity from the universal vacuum. Universal vacuum. Gravitational braking. Emergence of matter as mass generates inertia. Inertia as the emergence of anti-gravity in the form of formed masses of stars and planets. As a result, additional space emerges, the expansion of the universe. It turns out that the universe is constantly expanding in space as a result of universal braking and its inertia. Now pay attention, you'll be surprised, but this universal mechanism for the emergence of anti-gravity, based on braking and inertia with the subsequent expansion of space, occurs during the growth of plants, animals, and humans. Yes, the emergence of anti-gravity has the same mechanism in animals and plants as it does in the universe. Therefore, according to the theory of anti-gravity, we all live in this additional space-time, and the universe didn't explode anything. On the contrary, it took care of us. providing us with new space and time to live and create within it. In general, the anti-gravity nature of the universe's development can be traced throughout the entire vertical relationship between man and the material world. The anti-gravity model, consisting of the stages of deceleration, inertia release of anti-gravity, is also inherent in human nature, and it would be strange if it weren't so. After all, we are children of the universe. Take the phenomenon of sleep. Why do people sleep for a third of their lives? It's very simple. Knowing the anti-gravity nature of the universe's development, we can easily draw an analogy with sleep. During the day, the individual inhibition in the human body increases due to the recording of surrounding processes, as well as the body's internal processes. In the evening, the body's final inhibition occurs, and the person falls asleep. Sleep pattern. Human recording of daily processes. Increase in the processes of braking in the human body. Inertia, the exit of anti-gravity from the structural vacuum of the body. Sleep additional individual time of a person. The inertia that arises from the deceleration a person experiences during the day is the release of anti-gravity from the structural vacuum of the human body. This release is accompanied by a period of sleep. For a person, the release of anti-gravity is, in essence, the release of their
Additional individual time.
thanks to which they continue to live. Indeed, without sleep, without this
Additional individual time.
even the most resilient people can survive no more than 2 weeks, after which they die due to the collapse of bodily functions. That is, their individual human time without sleep quickly ends. Now let's consider the release of anti-gravity using the example of the arm kettlebell. A person lifts a kettlebell. Now let's consider the release of anti-gravity using the example of the arm kettlebell. A person lifts a kettlebell, and with each movement, the fixation of the weight by the arm muscles increases. Any fixation leads to deceleration. After some time, the muscle inhibition reaches its maximum. The response to deceleration is inertia, the release of anti-gravity from the structural vacuum of the human body. But you already know that anti-gravity is a form. This form is soon filled with the protein of new muscle fibers. Human muscles begin to grow thanks to the anti-gravity mechanism. I described the kettlebell arm process in more detail in this diagram. Arm kettlebell diagram. Fixation. Increase in gravitational potential. Braking inertia. Affixation. Increase in anti-gravity. Potential anti-gravity emerges from the structural vacuum, increased muscle formation as additional space. Overall, studying the phenomenon of anti-gravity significantly expands a researcher's consciousness. I noticed this while working on this theory. The more I delved into the study of anti-gravity in biology, medicine, physics, chemistry, astronomy, and many other fields, the more answers I received to the questions I posed. Believe me, this is revolutionary knowledge. In this regard, I want to say once again with complete confidence that human history will be divided into periods before and after the discovery of anti-gravity theory. This revolutionary theory will expand your consciousness and lead you to the creation of supertechnologies. Below, I present the matrix of anti-gravity thinking, the basic concepts and characteristics of gravity and anti-gravity. This will help you understand this theory more deeply. Overall, anti-gravity theory is enormous because it permeates every science, because it is a theory about the universe itself, about its anti-gravity model of development. That is, if we say that anti-gravity theory is a theory of the development of the universe, we will be absolutely correct. I draw your attention once again to the fact that the pattern of anti-gravity's emergence from a vacuum is the same, both in space and on Earth. This is the grandeur of anti-gravity theory. As above, so below. This biblical wisdom is fully confirmed by this theory. Space, plants, animals, and UFO engines operate according to a single natural pattern of extracting anti-gravity from the structural vacuum. In creating our engine, we will also utilize this natural pattern. Therefore, our method is correct, and we are on the right path to creating an anti-gravity engine. Through anti-gravity, humanity will unite the laws of the microcosm and the macrocosm for the first time. Meanwhile, the theory of anti-gravity has a high methodological level. You probably know that the higher the level, the greater the discoveries in science and technology. The powerful methodological apparatus of the theory of anti-gravity provides humanity with the keys to more breakthrough, epochal discoveries in all existing fields of science and technology. And this is true. To illustrate the scope of this theory, I will briefly discuss its components. It consists of the basic theory of anti-gravity, as well as auxiliary theories called the theory of complementary temporality and the theory of information optics. These auxiliary theories are like rocket stages. Without them, anti-gravity theory alone cannot cope with the task of moving human objects through space and the universe. In this regard, the theory of complementary temporality studies theories of temporal compensation for time losses during the movement of objects in space, and the theory of information optics studies the phenomena of space curvature for the purpose of instantaneous movement of objects and information within it. Today, the concept of anti-gravity is very narrow. Humanity views it primarily as a means of overcoming gravity, like the flights of mysterious UFOs above Earth. But it should be noted from the outset that the development of an anti-gravity engine is a small section of anti-gravity theory. Vast layers and directions of this theory await their researchers and inventors. In particular, I know and see that thanks to anti-gravity theory, humanity will soon make revolutionary discoveries in medicine, biology, particularly virology, physics, chemistry, astronomy, mechanical engineering, and IT technologies. These discoveries will be of such a magnitude that human history, as I said, will be divided into periods before and after. Specifically, I will outline the areas that will give humanity super technologies and epochal discoveries. Biology, anti-gravity medicine, a revolutionary approach, the development of super technologies for treating people by balancing the gravitational and anti-gravity potentials of a person. This undoubtedly provides effective treatment for cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and other ailments. There are vast layers and directions of research here. Just imagine that each disease and organ has its own map of the dynamic balance of gravitational and anti-gravity potentials, its own deviations and aberrations, its own thresholds for recording and affixing the body's internal processes. Balancing the gravitational and anti-gravity potentials of the human body will allow us to treat the root cause of disease. Because modern medicine currently treats their consequences with drugs and surgery, the root cause of disease is an imbalance between the gravitational and anti-gravity potentials of the human body. Here is a diagram of cancer. Let's consider the diagram of stomach cancer according to the aspects of anti-gravity theory. Chronic gastritis leads to inflammation of the stomach walls. Inflammation increases the body's fixation. Fixation increases the gravitational potential and inhibition in the stomach walls. Inhibition facilitates the release of anti-gravity from the structural vacuum of the human body at the site of stomach inflammation. Anti-gravity is a form. The release of anti-gravity facilitates the release of additional space, which is known as the development of a cancerous tumor. The delta of cancer. Now we will discuss a method for curing the human body of cancer within the framework of anti-gravity theory. In this regard, the theory views the healing process as the elimination of the delta of cancer. According to the anti-gravity theory, the cancer delta is the difference in the ratio of the gravitational and anti-gravity potentials of a healthy and diseased organ. The cancer delta can easily be used to identify precancerous conditions in the body. It can also be used to actively restore its natural balance, which leads to recovery. This illustrates the workings of the human heart. The heart, like every organ in the human body, has its own inhibition threshold. It has its own gravitational and anti-gravity potential. Balancing their ratio leads to a healthier heart and a significant extension of life in general. Virology, taming epidemics through complementary temporal and temporal compensatory approaches to anti-gravity medicine. The framework of the theory of complementary temporality will be actively applied here. A hidden time mechanism is constantly at work in the human body. Its purpose is to compensate for or prolong other temporal processes. During an illness, in the first stage, a person loses sensitivity to surrounding processes. That is, its fixation potential decreases, and accordingly the gravitational potential and braking force of the body decrease. In the second stage of the disease, less and less anti-gravity emerges from the structural vacuum of the human body, and thus less additional time. During this time, the potential for viral fixation increases rapidly, and their individual inhibition, anti-gravity release, and accordingly their additional time increase. By the end of the third stage of the disease, the flow of additional time from viruses dominates, and the human body finally runs out of time and dies. Illness is a struggle for time, gerontology, extending human life by 2 to 3 times, on average up to 200 years, by adjusting gravitational and anti-gravity potentials. The theory of complementary temporality will also be actively used here. Mechanical engineering, creation of anti-gravity engines, lifting mechanisms, aircraft, and various types of automobiles. Physics, chemistry, and related sciences. Primarily, physical chemistry and biophysics will develop materials for anti-gravity medicine, biology, anti-gravity engines, and various types of mechanisms. Anti-gravity mathematics and geometry are a complex field of research into humans, nature, and space. IT technologies, the creation of new types of supercomputers. These anthropomorphic computers will utilize the quantization of human nature to access the planet's information field. As I've already mentioned, according to the theory of anti-gravity, our universe is expanding due to the release of anti-gravity from the structural vacuum of space. The main question is how to liberate anti-gravity from the structural vacuum of any matter. Let's ask ourselves, how does the release of anti-gravity from matter occur naturally in nature? In nature, the development of form and structure in plants and animals follows the Fibonacci sequence. In particular, the relationship between the parts of a tree, its crown and branches, the relationship between the coils of sunflower seeds and other plants, all follow the Fibonacci sequence. The relationship between the body parts of humans and animals also follows the laws of this sequence. Moreover, the development of galaxies also follows the laws of the Fibonacci sequence. In general, this phenomenon has long been known. Humanity knows about it, but nothing more. There is no deep understanding of this phenomenon. I maintain that the Fibonacci sequence is a natural anti-gravity sequence. The Fibonacci sequence is a universal anti-gravity sequence because the universe itself develops according to its laws. The question is, how is this phenomenal sequence applied in UFO anti-gravity engines? To understand this, let's consider how a natural anti-gravity engine works, using a tree as an example. A tree, by relating its parts according to the Fibonacci sequence, acts as an anti-gravity receiver, a solar ray collector. Sunlight irradiates the tree, parts of which are embedded with the anti-gravity Fibonacci sequence. Thanks to this, the tree grows and rises above the ground. Of course, minerals, water, and organic materials contribute to tree growth, but these are all secondary factors. The growth of a tree as an object with form and structure is achieved through the release of its natural anti-gravity. According to the theory of anti-gravity, the individual anti-gravity potential of a plant or animal is encoded in its genome. Anti-gravity engine operation diagram, UFO engines, also utilize the natural principle of anti-gravity output. This type of engine is used in UFOs. Essentially, a UFO is a circular anti-gravity engine. An emitter is located in the center of the engine. This is a light pulse generator. Light pulse locks made of special materials are installed around the UFO.
The emitter emits light pulses with a Fibonacci periodicity. These pulses enter the fixator material. The intensity of the emitter's light pulses is so great that at a certain point, anti-gravity emerges from the structural vacuum of the fixator material within the fixator. This release of anti-gravity occurs as a lifting force. It is no coincidence that the UFO's lights flicker around their perimeters. This is the work of the light pulses entering the fixator. Glowing holes located around the UFO's circumference allow excess light pulses to escape from the fixator into space, preventing interference of light pulses within the fixator. We have created a computer that operates on natural quantization of information. The rounded shape of the engine is no accident. The UFO's saucer shape is due to the distribution of the fixator material around its circumference.
This allows for uniform anti-gravity thrust, and the ship to have good stability and control in space. Overall, the round shape of a UFO is ideal for creating an anti-gravity-powered aircraft. I am confident that after becoming familiar with the theory of anti-gravity, talented engineers will be able to create an experimental anti-gravity engine. This theory and this knowledge will expand your consciousness and lead you to the creation of supertechnologies. As you may have seen in the previous sections, space, plants, animals, and UFO engines operate according to a single natural pattern for extracting anti-gravity from the structural vacuum. When creating our engine, we will also utilize this natural pattern. Therefore, our method is correct, and we are on the right path to creating an anti-gravity engine. The operating diagram of an anti-gravity engine is described in more detail in the 5 basic lectures on anti-gravity. A link to them is included in the video description. Now I would like to dwell in more detail on Upperland, this digital Vatican, a place where humanity's supertechnologies will freely develop. Upperland comes from the English word upper, higher. This will be a land of the highest technology, a union of inventors, industrial developers, and investors. Computer programs and advanced technologies in robotics, medicine, biology, physics, chemistry, and other sciences will immediately find application in a wide variety of economic and industrial sectors. Particular attention will be given to the development of anti-gravity technologies. According to the Constitution of Upperland, there will be no digital slavery. All software developers, IT developers, and inventors in any other fields of science and technology will work exclusively for themselves. A portion of the revenue from implemented programs and technologies will be directed to the Upperland budget to support new promising areas and the development of social programs. The main goal of Upperland will be to create comfortable conditions for developers and inventors and finance their projects. Upperland should be located in the south of Kazakhstan. The south of Kazakhstan has a favorable, mild climate and beautiful nature. It will be a kind of digital Vatican, a small state within a state.
Проверили калибровку спектрометра?
Да, результаты на планшете.
Uppers, as the residents of Upperland will be called, are IT specialists and inventors in a wide range of fields, including science and industry. These are primarily young people and young families who will receive significant financial support for the development of their projects. Each upper and their family will be provided with comfortable housing, transportation, and social benefits. Upper does not mean a higher caste of people, but the highest intelligence on the planet. You might be surprised, but over time it is possible to create a progressive, humane world government in Upperland, because the digital Vatican will quickly achieve unprecedented, epical results in all areas of science and technology. This will allow it, using supertechnologies, to paralyze the aggressive actions of any government or army of unintelligent countries. And don't be surprised, Kazakhstan has a great historical future of epical significance for all of humanity. According to British scientists and analysts, Kazakhstan is the so-called middle wall of the world, its core. Its exceptionally advantageous geographic and geopolitical position, along with its wealth of natural resources, led British scientists to conclude that whoever controls Kazakhstan will control the world. This is the country from which man first stepped into space. It is an extraordinary, special land where a powerful portal to universal knowledge has been opened. Kazakhstan offers a truly cosmic landscape on our planet. Laboratory model of an anti-gravity engine. Now it's crucial to discuss the laboratory model of an anti-gravity engine. A more detailed description can be found in the 5 basic lectures on anti-gravity. A link to them is in the description of this video. To create a fully functional engine, it's essential to complete the laboratory model. As you may have seen in previous sections, space, plants, animals, and UFO engines all operate according to a single natural mechanism for extracting anti-gravity from a structural vacuum. In creating our engine, we will also utilize this natural mechanism. Therefore, our method is correct, and we are on the right path to creating an anti-gravity engine. If the laboratory model is created, we are already 80% successful. After that, creating a working model of an anti-gravity engine will be much easier. Therefore, I especially encourage young inventors and programmers to begin creating an anti-gravity engine. If successful, it will be an epical breakthrough for humanity into the era of anti-gravity and super technology. This will be your success, a resounding success. I want to point out right away that each fixative material requires its own pulse frequency and duration, as well as its own waiting period for anti-gravity to emerge from the structural vacuum of the fixative material. Attention! If anyone succeeds in releasing anti-gravity during this experiment, please let me know. We will jointly verify the experiment's frequency and record the release of anti-gravity in the experimental protocol. This is necessary to document this significant event in human history, as well as to immortalize the name of the researcher who achieved the first anti-gravity release on our planet. And believe me, for people, this monumental event will be more significant than a human spaceflight. The goal of the experiment to achieve the release of anti-gravity from the structural vacuum of the fixative material using light or sound pulses. The objectives of the experiment: during the experiment, optimally select the pulse wave frequency, the pulse duration of the light or sound pulse generator, and change the composition of the fixative material. I'm confident that an anti-gravity engine will inevitably succeed, because it's based on the natural output of anti-gravity. Therefore, I offer my perspective on the technical side of the experiment, for example, the emitter pulses. I believe that, as in nature, they could be light pulses. The emitter itself is essentially a light pulse generator. The time between pulses corresponds to the Fibonacci sequence. See the table. T is equal to 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144 milliseconds, repeating in a circle. I propose using an organic material for the fixator and placing it in a small transparent glass test tube, or better yet, a small flask. This could be the contents of a chicken egg. Therefore, we install the light pulse generator no more than 5 centimeters from the test tube. For ease of observation, the test tube should be positioned and balanced with a weight on the scale pan. So, let's turn on the light pulse generator and begin the experiment. 1. Observe the test tube's behavior. It is expected that the anti-gravity generated in the clamp will lift the pan with the flask upward. 2. Steps during the experiment. Change the duration of the light pulse from 0.5 milliseconds to 200 milliseconds. Change the frequency of the light pulse from 20 Hz to 3000 Hz. The time between pulses is constant. See the table. T is equal to 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144 milliseconds. This time can be longer. See the table. T equals 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, 233, 377 milliseconds. These time values repeat in a circle. In general, evidence has come down to us from ancient times that priests lifted enormous stone blocks and boulders using sound. In this regard, the frequency of the light pulse can be optimized to a range from 100 to 3000 Hz. If a sound pulse generator is used in the experiment, the time between sound pulses can be optimized accordingly. For example, see the table: 0.377, 0.61, 0.987, 1.59 seconds. If these values are rounded, we get 0.37 seconds, 0.6 seconds, 1 second, 1.6 seconds. Repeat in a circle. In short, we need to selectively apply the optimal frequency of light or sound to the fixator material to achieve the release of anti-gravity from the structural vacuum of the fixator material. I am confident that the method for extracting anti-gravity is correct. Forward, the scales must tip. Know that this is the tipping of the scales of human history, with the Stone Age on one side and a great future on the other. While studying anti-gravity, I realized something. Don't be afraid to dream, dream big. Believe me, the nature of the Earth and the universe far exceeds your wildest dreams and fantasies. But I can tell you firmly and confidently, the achievement of supertechnologies lies in understanding the theory of anti-gravity. Our method is correct, and we are on the right path to creating an anti-gravity engine.
The operating diagram of an anti-gravity engine is described in more detail in the 5 basic lectures on anti-gravity. A link to them is included in the video description.